one of our TGV speakers, and he has become a good friend ever since we connected right from day one. In fact, to be honest, I never felt we were talking to each other on day one itself. That's the kind of bonding which was created. Okay, so I'm pleased to have him join today's session and share his opinion about the storytelling and also some tips around it, because he actually has authored one book himself. So definitely is going to bring in a lot of perspectives which each one of you can leverage them and start creating better content for TGV. Okay, so yeah, with that, I'll hand over the baton to Charu. Over to you. I'll go on mute.
Thank you so much, Naveen, for this opportunity. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on a Sunday. I understand that it's a little easier day of the week and taking out time and joining us for this conversation. Thank you so much for that. So, let me share with you what my journey has been. So, before I share with you the corporate storytelling bit, it's important for you to understand who the person who is talking about and what's the background that he has been, so that a few of the things would come from my perspective, and so you can discount the things that are you feel that are from a different perspective. Okay, so I'm a typical Maharashtrian middle class guy, born and brought up in a small place around 500 kilometers from Mumbai. So father was a teacher, mother was working in a college, and three eldest, a younger sister and a younger brother. So we had no choice in our life but to ensure that education was our way out of the place and for us to make something bigger. So we started studying by default because there was really no choice. So we studied throughout, and then subsequently became an engineer by default. My cousin was an engineer, so I wanted to become engineer. And in spite of he telling me that I should become a computer engineer, I said, no, you are wrong. You are basically a mechanical engineer, so I'm also going to become a mechanical engineer. So he was saying that next service come. I said, no, nothing doing. You are a mechanical guy, I'm a mechanical guy. It was as simple as that. So I did a lot of things by default, right? So not even really looking at it. Way back in '98, with the when I graduated, when I was cleared my 12th in '94, with a computer engineering, I could have been in a different place, but I did mechanical, and I have absolutely no regrets about it. I enjoyed 4 years in college. Okay, did not much other than enjoying and having good time. Did a lot of debating competitions, extempore dramas. So I had a full good year, and before coming into the working side. So as you would have realized that if you basically spend your 4 years enjoying in college, normally you need to start at a very low, because otherwise only the guys who do really the work, they get into campus. And for us who were actually enjoying our lives, we had to start from the bottom of the pyramid. So we started from there. So started at smaller jobs, worked across multiple companies. Before my first entrepreneurship bug hit me in 2006, so started my first company. And within a year, I realized that I have worked in all the smaller companies, and I don't really have an idea of how the big companies really work. Okay, so at that point in time, I decided I want to get into some big company. So before starting my own, I was working with one of the IBM partners. So IBM team knew me, and they said, that, why don't you come and join us for managing the shipbuilding? Okay, so my first in my entire life, my first real understanding or real exposure to branding came in when I joined IBM in 2008. Okay, so that was one bit. Then subsequently from 2008 to 2010, I worked with IBM before IBM sold all of us 600 people for 600 million to Dassault. Okay, that's when we realized that that's a life. So you cannot say that I'm a blue-blooded guy with IBM tag. If the business didn't make sense, they had a good deal, they just sold us off. So all of us were sold for $1 million each to Dassault. And this was a different animal compared to IBM, which was a very different case. So that's my second thing when I realized as to how a private company would operate compared to a huge giant like IBM. That's my the second exposure. Then after this, so I thought, okay, probably this is not the IBM case, and I need to have a larger exposure to the companies as to what I was doing. And that's when I was fortunate to work with SAP. So I worked with SAP India for 3 years, 11 quarters to be precise, because in SAP you live life per quarter. So if you have done the number, you are into next quarter. If you have not done the number, you are out. So I survived 11 such quarters in SAP. And after surviving those 11 quarters, I realized that I cannot leave this anymore. So I wanted to basically see that licenses were sold, but they were not implemented. So I thought there was a great opportunity for me to step out and then and see how these licenses are implemented. However, getting out on my own, starting from the scratch, would have been difficult. So I partnered with a 70-year-old cost audit firm, and I together we launched a consulting venture. So I ran that venture as a director and CEO for 3 years. Before that, company realized that they wanted to continue more on to audit, and so I stepped out and started again on the consulting side. These 3 years, I started getting into the audit side because I initially did some SAV project, but subsequently being a mechanical guy, and this was a cost accounting firm. So costing came naturally to me, so I started getting into costing. Then subsequently, also started presenting costing to the boards. So I was fortunate enough to present the reports and meet India's top boards that included companies like Siemens. I had exposure to L&T. I worked with the international companies like BASF, and whatever the work that I did was very well appreciated. And that's when my circle, all of a sudden, the connect circle with whom I was working moved from the corporate guys to guys who were sitting in the board. So like the Hari, Mr. Shailesh Hari Bhakti, or the other people who are under multiple boards, chairmen of multiple companies. So I got certain exposure to work with them. Then again, I moved back into consulting. Then we looked at another 3 years. We worked closely with Raymond, another couple of German companies, one MNC into electrical space. That continued. Before, what you see out here, Globals, is the IT company that I launched. That me, Amit, and another Amit. So three of us launched together about 1.5 years back. Now we work again back with the brands, companies like Mahindra, L&T. There's a Canadian company called Next Pathway, Salesforce. So we work with multiple companies on this count, and we are building this organization. Okay, sorry, I went 2 minutes extra. So the idea was to be, I gave you this perspective just for you to understand as to whatever that I am going to say is going to come with this background. Okay, so that then you know that whatever the stories or the way I'm going to relate to that is basically from this perspective. Okay, so in corporate storytelling, when you talk about it, there are different perspectives. It is not limited to one particular guy. Okay, so there are multiple stakeholders, multiple people. The messaging has to go to different level, and that's how it has to happen. Now, let me start by asking you, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I will take about 10 odd names, okay? And you need to tell me one thing that comes to your mind first, okay? The moment you heard that. First is Tata. Yeah,
S-
go ahead.
Safety pin to aeroplanes. That's what they are known for. Like they make each and everything.
Perfect. What comes to your mind when you talk about Reliance?
Reliance disruptor. Like if you talk about Geo,
Disruptor.
Geo is
Agree.
a great example, right? They made the internet so affordable, and at the same time, they made people lazy as well, right? Because we are now addicted to these screens, not bothered about our own growth and all, and started ordering food online. Everything is online, and we are stagnant. And also, apart from that, binge watching these OTT platforms and all. So good and bad.
Amazing. Absolutely. So when then you talk about certain other, the other is State Bank of India.
I think, guys, I can speak indefinitely, but it is better if you guys speak out and be vocal. See, nobody is going to judge you. Okay, so you can feel free to express the thoughts. Okay, that is the beauty of the community that we are building. Okay, there's no right or
So, can you
wrong.
ask
Yeah,
about SBI?
Yeah. Yeah, Abhijit, go
Yeah,
ahead. So you
Harshad
can straight
Mehta.
away go ahead. Okay,
When
so
we hear
now, yeah, Abhijit.
when we hear about State Bank of India, one thing that definitely comes to my mind is one of the biggest employers in India.
Perfect. What happens if you look at ICICI Bank?
One of the efficient private banks of India.
Okay. What happens when you talk about UTI? Oh,
UPI or
yeah,
UTI,
UTI, or sorry, the Axis Bank now.
Axis Bank. Axis Bank, 2008, sorry, 2018 demonetization, Delhi. These things come to my mind when I hear about Axis Bank.
Okay. And what happens, what comes to your mind when you talk about Yes Bank?
Yes Bank, those shares coming out, coming down, and those scams and related things.
Perfect. So what comes to your mind when you talk about Kingfisher?
Kingfisher, Vijay Mallya, and Royal Challengers Bangalore, the IPL team, and how the wine, these things.
Perfect. I think I know you guys are a little too young to remember this, but probably anybody ever remember about the Kingfisher calendars and all?
No, sir.
The only the two old guys in the room know this, right? The other guys don't even really are able to recollect that. Okay. So we are looking at a very different thing, right? So the first thing that we look at when you talk about a one particular bank or the story that you talk about is what immediately comes to your mind. Okay. So the first thing, like when you looked at the Yes Bank, today the thing that comes to mind is see where the share has gone. Okay. Fundamentally, we are not really worried as to whether what the service that the Yes Bank is offering, what is really going on. Is there something special that's happening with them? We are really not getting into those things, right? The first thing we know is, yeah, this the share has crashed. Okay. So when you talk about the SBI, some they think that is the largest. It's one of the largest employers in the banking side. But Harshad Mehta story or the different things that might have happened this way or the other way also start coming to your mind. Okay. So when you talk about a corporate brand or when you want to tell a story, you need to be very careful about what is it that you want to position. Okay. So let's take an example of. I'll share with you what we have tried to do. Okay. So as on date, the name for my company, Globals, comes from growth principles. Actually, I should have invited Amit. It would have been fun to have Amit in this conversation. I missed him. I should have got him out here. So, when we're talking about getting the name, as to how do we create a name and what is the message that we want to communicate? Okay. So, Globals basically is a combination of two words, growth principles. So we are talking about creating a company that believes in growth principles. Okay. And it is based on five values. Okay. What are these values that we talk about? So this is what the thing you will see this campaign coming out a big way in Gropals. We were playing a little low so far, but now we would see this coming in. So how we are looking at this is I would look at our example first before I talk about the others. So we are talking about intuition. We are talking about compassion. We are talking about innovation. We are talking about collaboration. We are talking about the things that won't be replaced by machines. We are an IT company. We are talking about growth principles. We are talking about IT. We are talking about cloud. We are talking about data. We are talking about everything. But we are saying that our core beliefs are based on the human values that would be there always. Okay? So this is what we are trying at our level. Right? So this is at a very small level. Now look at a very classical case study of a company called Mahindra. Okay. I've been fortunate to work with them across different capacities for last about 22 odd years. So I've seen this journey firsthand. I've seen their old plants. I've seen Mahindra where it stands there, right? So now I want you to look at this particular case study, Mahindra. I I think Mumbai was trying to join. Okay, so she has joined. Okay. So we are basically now trying to look at this particular case, just one example of Mahindra. Okay. For the earlier generation, Mahindra was always known for some the Jeeps. Okay. There is a vehicle called Armada. So does this vehicle even come to your mind when you talk about Mahindra? Do you guys even remember this vehicle today?
No.
Okay. Uh, so if you talk about Mahindra, what is that the first thing that comes to your mind? No,
Scorpio, sir.
yeah, Abhijit. Scorpio.
Scorpio, sir.
Okay, everybody has to. So Abhijit, for it, Abhijit's it's Scorpio. What's the first thing that will come to your mind when you talk about Mahindra Yash?
Hello.
Yeah, Yash,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Yeah. So when you talk about Mahindra, the first thing in my mind that comes is the vehicles they make,
Okay.
and also like the advertisements they do. I mean, Mahindra's advertisements have been very catchy in last few years that I have been watching them. So that comes to my mind when I talk about Mahindra.
Okay. What's your impression, Hari?
Yeah, for me, Mahindra tractors. Since my childhood, I am seeing only Mahindra tractors only. trucks.
Amazing. Great. Saila, what is your impression about Mahindra?
Actually, I don't know, but when I hear Mahindra, the thing that came first to my mind is vehicles.
Okay, which one? Any particular vehicle?
No, actually, it's just an image of a car.
Fair enough. What's your impression, Mumbai?
Sir, again, when I thought of vehicles and especially the ones that they use to carry goods, maybe the small tempo like vehicles that they use.
Okay, fair. So the moment we talk about one particular example, we have had something which we are able to relate. Like, so Hari was able to relate to Mahindra tractors because that is what he has seen. Okay, Abhijit had the Scorpio, which is he was able to see. Right. So based on your interaction across the different parts, you would see different examples. Now, Yash made a very valid point that they have been able to ramp up the tempo over a period of time by putting in a very different set of vehicles. Okay. Have you heard about a name called Ram Kripa Anantan? Check out this name. Okay, Ram Kripa Anantan. Okay, so Ram Kripa is, or Kripa as she is popularly known, used to head R&D, or used to head the product development, particularly the styling and everything for Mahindra for about 22 odd years. So she worked with Mahindras for 22 years. So she is just stepping out of Mahindra right now. So for 22 years, the entire concepts of XUVs and the XUV 700, 500, 300, TUVs, the Scorpios, the facelift, uplift, the entire outline that you see, the outer or the interior, the beauty that you see, has actually come from a lady named Ramkripa Anandan. Okay, so these are the names. So you would she was basically covered in certain. So if you look at the Autocar or this kind of magazine, Ram Kripa was positioned much quite well in last 3 or 4 years. Primarily to see that a lady is basically looking at designing a particular product and she has amazing perspective. Kripa is just amazing. So you then see that kind of a story coming in. Now, I want to, so this is one. So let's continue with this particular bit. How many of you have got this message of Mahindra tractors creating an image of Shakti during the Navratri? Nobody got
Not
it?
me, not me, because I'm not going through the. I'm not watching television these days for some reason. Yeah.
No, no, it did not come on your WhatsApp. This the group. This it was circulating that video.
For maybe my ignorance, I didn't come across that.
Okay, fair enough. How many of you follow Mr. Anand Mahindra on Twitter?
I
Yes, sir, I
I
follow.
follow only viral posts or something, but yeah, I somehow missed this. Yes,
Okay,
Abhijit, go ahead.
Abhijit, you follow. Yeah, you follow him on,
Yes,
right?
yes, sir.
So, what is it that you observe when Mr. Mahindra interacts with common people? What are some, say, about three top things that you like when you follow Mr. Anand Mahindra?
The top thing which comes to my mind, he gives people. He gives some of the personalities that got medals in the Olympics.
Perfect.
And this and the second thing is he thinks about the people, what is really going in the society, and he inspires to do more things. Currently, Mahindra is also working for defense of India. They are making vehicles for internal security of India. So they are moving on
Correct.
from things that they were not doing.
Yes. One more thing.
Mm, he has a sense of humor.
Yes. Very important. So, Mahindra Group, when you talk about it, the they don't really have too many brand ambassadors around there, or they don't really not getting it because the guy at the top is doing the job. Okay, the positioning for this particular part, the storytelling is happening with one particular guy who is very responsible. As you rightly said, wherever somebody is winning this medal, he's going out and gifting them vehicles. Now, that one particular gift or one particular vehicle, the Thar they are what they are normally offering, is really not going to cost Mahindra more than 10 lakhs, right? So, even if he basically gives it to five people, the overall cost is just about 50 lakhs. And imagine the goodwill that they can get. That could be just the amount that you need to spend by buying some ad in one of the cricket matches or in the T20 matches. Right? Probably the couple of ads that if you show during the T20 during the last overs, that itself would be 50 lakhs. And only few set of people would find who are probably discussing more about the match compared to the ad at that point in time. But herein, by investing those 50 lakhs to those athletes, remember the kind of goodwill that he is creating. So, what is the story that you are telling? Okay, so the corporate storytelling, when you want to look at it, you need to look at all these aspects, right? So, if you are building up a story, right, the story covers everything. How the gentleman at the top is behaving, is responding to the actress. If somebody makes some complaint also around the vehicle, or particularly that he is not getting it, he won't mind basically saying that, "Ki, Rajesh, can you look into it?" Rajesh Chedurikar is the head of IT, or he would just go and talk to Rajan saying that, Rajan, can you look into it? Rajan right now heads the whole delivery bit, or he would tag the concern part, or somebody not coming in on the HR side, somebody makes a complaint, he will tag Rajeshwar and say, Rajeshwar, can you just look into this? So the response, the image that's getting created at the top is about being responsible, being responsive, being part of the culture, celebrating the culture that you're talking about. So the story gets built up. Okay. So storytelling is not when you talk about the corporates, when you talk about sharing what the brand is all about, everything goes at this level. So when you want to build up a story, let's say if you want to create a story for TG, it's going to be multiple things that you have to look at it. It's not just about putting something at one place. It's going to be about how do you conduct yourself? Where do you get involved? What are the activities that you are doing? Everything become part of the larger story that you are building. Are you getting this? Does it make sense? Or you have got queries around this Mahindra example and what we discussed so far?
We got this, sir.
Perfect. Anyone else has some queries? Are we okay till this point in time? Or you have a different perspective around Mahindra story?
Yeah, I guess Mahindra, they have been when they are trying to tell a story, they make sure that they make the audience notice that how their products can make the lower middle class people. They usually try to show us that how their vehicles can make you from lower middle class to at least more 20 or 30% more wealthier. I guess that's the main thing they want to show in their advertisements.
Perfect. So when they are creating an ad, when they are presenting it, they are basically saying that, okay, move a level up. Okay. So it's always about that progressive messaging, right? What's coming through. Fair?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, when we talk about the IT as a platform, let me try and give you some examples of which are very relevant in the IT space itself. Okay. So I worked with SAP, and SAP, when we were working between 2012 to 2014, was itself undergoing a huge transition. Okay. So okay, this is a little dated journey. Although it's about just around 9 years back, so a lot of things have happened in last 9 years, and it has happened at a very fast pace. So, I mean, these guys are just getting into the college, right? So these are just out of the college, all 20, 23.
Yeah, a bit younger as well. Like some of them are pursuing their undergrad, second year, third year kind of thing. And Abhijit has
Okay.
graduated. Rest all are like, I, I think around 19, 20, 21.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have asked this question before because a few of the examples then maybe a bit aged. But let me tell you, so even 9 years back, probably, so you got much into the technology much when the curve was going. But for people like us, when this whole story was getting built up, what happened is that a lot of conventional companies like SAP were very strong on on-premise models. Okay, and the cloud was coming in. The cloud was coming in. Companies wanted to look at cloud. They wanted to reduce their costs. So they wanted to move to cloud. And companies were moving, saying that SAP was very rigid, saying that this is my process, and you need to go and follow as per this process, and then you would get the result. Okay, so you have to follow my process was the way. Customization uh, was highly opposed in certain cases, and in case there was a lot of customization, there used to be a lot of problems to get value out of that system. So that's where then this SAP all of a sudden started moving to cloud. Now the question was that people who are very, very focused, okay, on creating a value and then basically selling based on that value. How do they go about going and making a direct sale? Because people like me were very used to get into an account. I used to manage into the key account space. So for me, if my client was about to say 3,000 crores or a 5,000 crore company, I would get into that particular company, understand that company's culture, understand what that particular problem that company has, then create a proper value proposition for them. We used to do a lot of account mining, meet all the stakeholders, and based on those stakeholders, we would then see what is the right value for them, and then we used to go and sell. Okay, this was our method, and everything was a valid proof. We used to create a large solution. Say 5 people solutioning team would work. We will get different line of business coming in, and then we would go with a very comprehensive, a very robust proposal to the client. It will go through its validation, then finally we'll go to the promoter and then close. Now, in 2013, so for people like us who were used to selling this, what you used to call a value selling effort, and that is what SAP was known as, right? So we will go do that particular assessment, come with the right set of expectation, and we would sell based on those value. And that's why we were basically looked upon as the one of the value-based selling guys and all. So those tags are there. So that's the branding stuff. Leave it there. Now, SAP had a particular problem. SAP was not able to do much into procurement optimization space. Okay, so they acquired a company called Ariba. Okay, and this Ariba team started getting integrated with us. So this is my first interaction with. So this is I'm sharing you my personal experience. So this Ariba guys came in and they were coming on board and they wanted to look at it. So we were there and as a part of key team, we were actually introduced to Ariba guys and all these guys are coming in and they want to go and work with you. Then it came to a common account, and then we realized that they had actually gone ahead and sold Ariba there. So we were wondering as to where, with all this particular value proposition, everything that we have done in SAP, and we were not even knowing that these guys are actually coming and working out there. And we came to know that this Ariba solution has been basically sold by our champion who was the CIO. I said, how come this particular solution got sold even without you knowing that? Then I ran into this guy the next day. I said, "अरे तुम्हारा deal हो गया मैंने सुना." He said, yeah, for us, the proposition is very simple. So there is one secretary. This secretary would go and call up the MD's office. Okay, tell him that my boss wants to come and see you, and he's going to give you a solution which is going to basically help you save 10 to 15% or 10 to 25% based on the industry as to for your in your all your procurements. Who would say no for this kind of a meeting, right? If you go and tell him that I'm going to save this money, this guy would go, tell him that this is your industry. We have done this optimization for these 5 companies who are your competitors. This is the global optimization level that we have achieved. So if you are comfortable, sign the contract now, okay, and we will help you. My team will come and implement. Because it was directly coming to the promoter and it was going to directly affect his bottom line, he would call up the CFO, they would discuss, they would agree on a price point, the MD will ask them to give you an order, and based on the order, only the CIO would then come to know that I need to go and he was not even required to go and implement because it was all a cloud system, and the business would go and implement, and all of us, we were all building up the value. So my sales cycle into one particular account was 3 months minimum. And these guys were going and selling in a meeting or maybe a couple of meetings. Now, see what happens and how this story has to transition. Now, for a company like SAP, which was all into value, now had to accommodate people who were doing closing deals in 2 meetings. And we were working for 3 months minimum in any account. For the larger deals, my colleagues used to and my team used to solve, say, about a month or sometimes even a year to get those deals. And these guys would go and close. Those were small amount deals, but the closing cycle was much faster because the entire cloud cycle itself was different. Now, look at the 2 stories. The 2 stories integrating into one company. On one side, SAP used to position it as a value. The story that was coming in was all around business. So you can actually see my articles on SAP.com also. They would also talk about how SAP can help you build value. Okay, so positioning the story that we are telling, or the story that I have told on SAP platform for all the small and medium businesses was also on how you can build value over a period of time, how SMEs can benchmark themselves, how they can prepare them for change, how they can optimize, how they can grow. So the story that SAP tells to all its listeners, so the people who are coming onto the platform, is that how your value will grow. On the other side, when it comes to cloud, the story is that what's the benefit that you can immediately, how fast you can get it, and how fast it can grow and it can escalate. So same company was actually forced to move its working, to move its messaging from one side to the other. So on one side it was a value, on the other side it was a quick result. Both the things came in. Same company delivering two different stories based on the audience that they were talking about. Okay, so procurement, which was already under stress, the cost was a stress. This was a solution which would come in, a quick fix, go implement that, get that particular data, and get going. On the other side, for a larger transformation deal, talk about it, create a value, and then get a deal. So same company offers two different perspectives, two different stories to the same different audience within the same company. The procurement guy who is getting into the operation is not concerned about the whole IT system. His KRA is basically to get the prices down, to show the reduction. And if there is something that can go and help him doing that particular reduction, he is immediately willing to go for that because he sees the return on the investment that he is making in that particular tool. On the other side, for the larger one, the same promoter will make the team grind to go through the complete grind, establish a value proposition, and then give him the deal. Both ways of cracking the deal. Both are possible, both coexist, and both goes to the same company. Is it clear? Is it making sense? Are you really looking at as to what are the things that are coming in out of this story? The first thing that you want to look at it when you are building up a story for any organization is that how, if you are building it for a corporate, you need to understand how that particular story is going to get related to the KRA of or the key result area of the individual whom you are targeting. That's the first thing that I want you to look at it. And that was our first learning when we got it from SAP. So your story needs to tell the other guy that this is what your problem is, this is what you are going to get measured on, and if you do this particular things, this is how you would be able to be successful. So relate it directly to him. Okay. So for a corporate hierarchy, relating it to the KRA. At any promoter across this particular part, the thing that they love to hear is about money. So if you want to create a story that you want to go to the promoter, okay, you need to talk only money to him. How the money would come? The money would probably come in terms of the increase in the top line or improving his profit. We can help you grow by 2x, or we can grow you help faster by 20%. We can help you improve your bottom line by 10%. We can help you we can help you save your inventory, and by reducing this particular inventory, we can bring this particular benefit to you. Everything is about money. So if the messaging goes for the preferred, creating it for the promoter, try and see if you can go and relate it to the money. Okay. This is general what I'm talking about is purely from the product line, right? So for the executives who are there, it needs to get linked to his promoter. If you are basically trying to look at it and it's purely a sales oriented pitch that you want to go and do at this, particularly for the software tool and all, that can basically talk about money. Now, this is another story. There is a gentleman who is actually a doctor, and I happened to run into. So this was during the time when we used to sit at the Bombay Gymkhana talking to all those directors in the evening over a beer and then talking about general things around here. So one of the gentlemen, he is also Kiki is the name. So Kiki is on 15 different boards. Okay, so 15 is the limit. That's why he's on 15 boards. Okay, so his only job is that he's on the executive boards. Okay, he would be typically the chairman of audit committee, and then he would be in certain cases chairman of some other committees, and he would be on boards. That's his one. Amazing, and a typical Parsi guy who has a tremendous sense of humor, a very different perspective to look at his life. Now, his cousin was a doctor. Okay, so he started working, he established his practice, and one of his client who had come from Europe for certain treatment to this particular guy was telling me that he's right now he had partnered with some yacht manufacturing company. and he wanted to basically see if those yachts could be sold in India also. So this guy had actually come for an operation. His Kiki's cousin operated him, and they had a good rapport. He told Kiki, "Or anyway, is operating this circuit. You know all the people around, right? So why not selling these yachts in India?" I said, "Okay." Now this is something a totally different thing, right? So talk about this particular a doctor, right? A doctor right here. Thing is a orthopedician who had come. He did a surgery. He came to know that guy told him that okay, why don't you start looking at yacht? And then this guy started looking into that particular space. And he then said, okay, why not let me start selling the yacht? Who would be the guys? He said, these are the guys who are there in your regular circle. These are the people who wouldn't see in Wellingtons or Bombay Gymkhana who basically have done everything and they need a new high. So what the new high could be that okay, my yacht is parked here somewhere close to that, and I want to basically go out in the evening with my friends into the Arabian Sea. Okay. Now this company, which was manufacturing those yachts in Europe, had some arrangement of bringing some samples in India. They got some 3 or 4 yachts here. He bought one, then his family immediately one bought, and now that guy has actually closed his practice. He used to operate in Bridge Candy. He was not a small surgeon. He used to operate in Bridge Candy. An amazing guy, a throughout ranker, stopped his business of being an orthopedician. And what he's doing right now is basically selling yachts. And believe me, it's not a small machine, right? We're talking about anywhere between 4 to 10 crores. So people are buying it for their social status. Because now, within Mumbai, people want to go and get have an evening in the AC. That has become the trend. So the story that's being told to them is basically about having a nice glass of wine or a nice champagne or a party with the friends when you are in the sea, right? Stories change. What is it that the messaging that you want to do? So this when you may not really. So there are only specific magazines wherein these guys would make those ideas. Those guys even those magazines won't even be available generally onto the stands or anywhere. They would go to the specific hotels. You would find them only into those particular clubs. You would basically find into some specific shops or specific cafes only. But they communicate the message. They do the job. So different people, based on what he would basically have different stories to tell. Okay. Another one very beautiful example. So this was like the top we looked at, right? Now I want to tell you a very another different story, and this particular story has been one of the biggest game changers in India. Okay, so you guys may or may not even remember this, but earlier in the when during my childhood, typically Sunday used to be the day wherein women in house would typically go for washing their hair. That used to differ in different places, but that used to be a big program in itself. You would have the shikikai. The shikikai needs to get boiled. They would then subsequently go and put the orange slices out there. Then it would have, and then everybody, the family, that used to be one Sunday morning stuff that needs to be done. So all of a sudden, the Unilever particularly and the other companies wanted these people to move to shampoo. But the question is that why would somebody who's used to that go and even buy a 50 rupee bottle of shampoo to test it? Because that quantity of shampoo used to come only into big bottles, so 200 ml, 100 ml bottle. So sometimes they wanted to change this behavior and they wanted people to try. Okay. So what they tried to do is they brought in these sachets. It started at 50 paisa also. Some of the brands used to come at 50 paisa, then 1 rupee was the standard one which was there. And that became a case study which is even studied in Harvard today. That how they were able to change the behavior by offering the sachet at 1 rupee or 2 rupee. They came in at 1 rupee, then subsequently Pantene up the game by bringing it at 2 rupees. Then Dove moved that game up by bringing it at 3 rupees. Now this is available at somewhere about 5 rupees or so. Now, what has happened is that if this is something which is very easily available, all you need to go and buy that 1 rupee pouch and then simply cut it and you can wash your hair. The women in family were no more interested in getting into all those shikakai, store it and manage it. It was very easy. Now that 1 rupee thing, because they started changing that particular behavior, and it was far easy. They were looking at all those shampoo. Then they brought in practically everybody who's who within the Bollywood to do that. Maybe on the southern side, there could be some different people into those ads, and they change the behavior itself. So the story moved to started at convenience, okay, started at affordability. So they tell him it's at 1 rupee. Why don't you try? Nobody say, okay, यार 1 रुपया खर्च करके देखते हैं. So with this particular part, the smallest of the things, see how the behavior change, how the story is gets built up, and from there the behavior moved completely towards shampoo. People still looking at from 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 3 rupee. Now people, a lot of people have moved to the bottles because it's far more economical. But anybody, even for their budget, for the weekend, if for the weekend hair wash, all that you need in a month is just about 10 rupees. So they have changed the consumption pattern itself. The story itself has changed, and that particular sachet became so popular phenomena that now we even see all this small नारियल तेल, राइट, वो भी 1 रुपए का पैक आता है पैराशूट का, 5 रुपए का टूथपेस्ट का पैक आता है when you are traveling. Okay, even नवरत्न तेल is also available in 1 rupee pouch. ज्यादा हेडेक हो गया तो बस घर पे चक्कर हो गया, जाके 1 रुपए का पाव लगा के निकल जाओ. You feel better. See how the behavior changes, how the story changes, how things move. So when you are communicating, so you are basically giving subtle messages. You are creating a brand. Unilever basically does not really create a brand around company. They create more brands around the product, and these particular products also bring in the behavioral change itself. So there is a possibility that you can build stories around convenience, you can build stories around usage, you can build stories around brand, you can build stories around people. So whatever is the strategy that really works for you will give you all those factors. Okay. Now I want to come to the last portion of this session that I want to create, and that's going to be about purely around IT. Okay. Now I want you to look at only the IT companies in India and then see what's your perspective. So when you talk about, yeah, Vijay, please.
So can you repeat the last point? I was noting it down. And the stories are built
Which
around
one?
the stories are
The
built
stories
around
that you,
products.
yeah, stories can be, so companies like Unilever will typically build stories around a product. Okay. The companies like Mahindra will build stories around their products, but there is also going to be one very strong branding or messaging that would happen with Mr. Mahindra in, right? Companies like Tata will basically build, they will create a common thread around trust and then build stories around it. Okay. So different ways in which you would be basically able to create or react. Okay. So stories,
Okay.
brand, people, consumption, what is it looking for? You can do that, right? Pichku, 10 रुपए का पिचकू was also the ad that Maggie ran for a long time, right? Pichku wala. So you basically create that affordability can also become basically a story that you want to communicate it. You want to go resonate with that.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay. Now I want to basically come specifically around the story that you want to create within the IT firms. Okay. Now compare three large companies in India. I start with Infosys, TCS, and Infosys, TCS, and let's probably take Cognizant also. Okay. So what is it that you see when you talk about these particular names? What's the story that you hear? What comes to your mind?
I guess all of them, like most of them, are like the go-to place for newly graduate engineers for seeking out a job. So that itself makes a great majority of IT industry of India dependent on the companies directly, and also there would be so many employees that are working with them as clients. So that would make them dependent indirectly. So I guess the story they would like to tell you is that they can support and work with the IT industry in India, and and like it provides a path, because in my college also majority, like 60% or 50% of the students will get recruited by TCS. So that's a lot of people for just one college, and this is a regular trend for all the colleges in India. So I think that would be the story they would want to tell.
Okay. What is your perspective, Hari?
Me also same. Yeah. And nearly in our college also TCS. You didn't mention Wipro, and Wipro These are
Yeah,
hiring
Wipro also.
in
I'm
bulk.
sorry. Yeah, Wipro as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hiring.
Okay.
They are hiring graduates in bulk amounts.
Okay. Okay. What's your experience here, Mridul? Sorry, Mridul.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Mridul.
Yes, I'm actually not from an IT background, so could you just elaborate a bit, like the question for me?
So when you hear these three name of these three IT companies in India, the largest IT companies, what comes to your mind? So if you're a non-IT, that is great because you won't have that background. So what comes to your mind when you talk about them?
So I guess we were just talking about TCS. So I am from a pharmacy background, and I have seen that a lot of pharmacists also have opportunity in Tata consultancy services. So there
Okay,
is where a lot of pharmacists also go.
okay. Uh, have you heard about a company called Facebook?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Have you heard about Have you heard about Instagram,
Yes.
WhatsApp?
Yeah. Obviously, we use all of them. So.
Okay. So what out of that comes from these three companies?
Some there is mostly like people connect on all these, like I think that is the main thing, like connecting with people, sharing your ideas, your interests, and gaining the same in return.
Okay. So out of these companies that we heard right now, it is TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant. Which is the product that you use every day?
Okay. I guess the medicines that, like the medicines that are used on the daily basis by the patients of like hypertension, diabetes, they use like those medicines. And sometimes when, and even we also have the a lot of home products like the hand washes, and even that, all of that also falls in pharmaceuticals, and then the cosmetics also. So if I go to talk about one certain company, then there is Cipla medicines that are used a lot. Then if it is regarding the house, then I think um, companies like Dettol and Lysol and all of these are used like on daily basis. And cosmetics, there are a lot of cosmetics like maybe L'Oreal or Maybelline. People also go here. Even this also falls under pharmacy background. So
Agree. Now my question to you was that out
yeah.
of Infosys, TCS, Wipro, or Cognizant, which is the product that they have developed that you use every day?
Mm, I think so. Wipro is one that, like, not every day. We don't use any of these products every day. I think not, at least me, but Wipro is something that I've heard a lot.
Okay. Yes, you want to say something? Go ahead, Yash.
Yeah, so I guess we you like all these companies are service based, like so they don't have a direct product. They provide like services. So I guess uh, services like I know Wipro Digital, and that's I guess the only service I've heard of till now. And I don't know on the majority scale what they do, but I know that Wipro Digital is like a service which many use because they have it has been discussed or told one or two times by one of my professors. So
Okay. So my question to you is that is the Indian IT sector, the one that we talk about, and this is the thought on which I want all of you to dwell, right? Why we don't have the right set of products, okay, coming out of Indian IT industry? Why are we basically only the services companies?
yeah, I have the answer to that. So
Yeah, go ahead, yes.
basically in India we always give more importance to the after sales service more than the product. And I have observed this on a large scale because just now 1 month ago, I was going to buy a new phone because my old phone was really damaged. So I had two options. I could have bought a Google phone, the newest Google Pixel I was going to buy, or I could have bought the Samsung S21 Plus. So uh, I asked my dad, because both had similar prices, like 1 or 2 thousand rupees difference. So I asked my dad, which phone should I buy. So without a second thought, he said buy the Samsung one, because once your phone is damaged, you would want to get it repaired, and Google service centers are not really viable. With they directly send your products to Delhi, and it will come back after a month or so. So but the specs on the Google phone were far much better than the specs on the Samsung phone. So as Indians, we are ready to compromise on the the quality the product brings, just for the sake that we will get a good service later. So that's the reason why service based companies are more successful in India than direct product based companies.
I think there is a bit of a little difference. I completely agree with your point when it comes to the purchase decisions here, Yash. I totally endorse that we are far more focused on having the after sales service or the right after sales service for the product as well. That is one of the very important points while making a decision in India. But the biggest of the IT companies that we talk about, which are employing all these companies together, may employ say about 10 or lakh people, right? Almost a million people work with them. And in spite of a million people working for them, why have they not come with a product like WhatsApp or for a product like Facebook or products anything innovative? So why the Indian IT industry always throws a, a good to be one some people who are very good at servicing the need that the client is giving them, but not creating something that the world would need. So look at Apple, right? You look at everybody has heard so many things about Steve Jobs. So that sometimes the client even they themselves don't know what they need. But you need to anticipate what they would need and then create a product that would basically make them say, wow, this is what I needed. Even help them realize what they would need. So he was talking about understanding the what this client will need over a period of time. And he was talking about his experience journey and how he can be ahead of that experience journey by providing him the right product and then creating a value for his product. Why Indian companies are purely focused on doing whatever that has been told to them and not creating something.
Because the I guess because it's the mentality, the main factor, the first factor which comes to mind is mentality. Because how we are inculcated these values, like when we go into the college, none of us ever thought about the education. All of us just thought one thing: the what is the final average salary the students who graduated from this college get. So I guess none of us ever thought that this college has a good incubation center, or it can provide a good uh, environment for startups. So if we don't have a proper mindset towards the thinking of creating or innovating something new, and if it is not inculcated within us in like our childhood, then it is really difficult for us as adults to go for innovation instead of a good salary. And these companies provide a really good salary, but they are just killing our innovation.
Amazing clarity of thoughts, Yash. At this stage, if you're basically able to bring in, hats off to you. I wanted to bring this controversial, this not so, not this is like uncomfortable. The controversial will come next. Is uncomfortable topic because when you are looking at this story, you also need to understand what is really possible, what is not happening. Okay. The only reason for me to give you a negative example of the everything that we talk good about the story is to have a correct view that when you are creating the story, you need to know as to when you are talking about Infosys, this is not the side that you can touch to. Okay, there is only one side that you can talk and start about building that story. You can talk about the culture. You can talk about the great campus which is available at Mysore, wherein you can get all the facilities that you would need. Or if you are in Bhubaneswar, if you are from the northeastern area, you can go towards on the eastern side. You can go to the Bhubaneswar, have a good facility there, learn, pick up those skills, and go and deliver. Probably go and deliver to the global clients also may go on site, right? So those kind of things that's a story that you can tell. You cannot talk about the innovation story here. The innovation story gets related when you talk about the startups. Okay, so that's what is the difference. Now, the last topic. Naveen, do we have 5 minutes?
No, we can
Okay.
continue. No worries. Like we can extend by another 5 or 10 minutes. I hope that's fine with everyone. Yeah.
So now, is everybody on Twitter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many of you have heard a campaign called No Bindi, No Business? Did you come across this?
No, sir, as I am not on Twitter.
Okay, Facebook. It's spread across, right? Not there. Did you hear it? Did you not hear it?
No, currently I am only operating Instagram, nothing else.
Okay, so I'm not sure if it was on Insta because I'm pretty weak on Insta. Sorry. So that's something that I'm learning right now. So I won't be able to make a comment whether it existed or not. Now, when people are creating the story, people sometimes use the controversies that are there into the market very smartly to propagate their brand. Okay. Now what you do is that somebody created an ad, okay, which was there with a particular point with the model standing out there without the bindi. Okay. So somebody on the other hand started creating a campaign saying that unless you are wearing a bindi, which is typically related to the Diwali as a festival, you would not be able to basically, we will not give you the business. Okay. So then they created a campaign saying, okay, no bindi, no business, which means that either you show your models with the bindi, otherwise will not give you the business, or people should not give them the business. So that's a campaign that started in, picked up on one particular side, and then people started relating their stories to what was happening on the media. Now, some of these particular, so in certain cases, models by default, I think even down south, even you have people with vibhuti very clearly they're into advertisements also, right? So that's not the taboo per se on the southern part of the country. On the northern side of the country, also people with tilak or cap or skull cap, people have those particular things which are there. Now, what you do is that along with this particular, when there is a campaign, the story started emerging on the either side. So there was a social media campaign which started picking up. Yesterday, today morning, there is a controversy on Twitter regarding a new Sabyasachi ad which shows the models without what they believe is not the case. But come on, that the guy is basically producing, selling one sari at 25,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees, right? How come a common man is even concerned with that particular brand, right? But they created a story, there was a controversy, and all of a sudden, that particular brand got attraction. They got the traffic. People started coming out there. So on the social media, when you are creating the stories, sometimes as long as you are playing it carefully, you can use the story on either side to position yourself. Okay. So it's very important for you that when you are creating a story, building your brand, to understand how the social media is moving. Okay. Because if you don't do that, if you don't do that correctly, then India typically is a seasonal market, right? So when you're talking about if you are getting into a storytelling for a corporate which is into the FMCG side, a lot of things would happen around the festive season. Okay, so for the festive season, if you want to get in the market and you create a mistake like this on this particular brand, you are going to get impacted. On the other side, if you are able to deliver a stronger message out there, the chances is that you may actually get business from the other side. Okay, so based on the product that you are going to launch in one particular season, in that particular, you need to choose your side correctly, pick up that particular side and then build it. There is nothing or right or wrong out here, right? Everybody has a perspective and all the perspectives need to be respected. So based on when you talk about the overall society, you need to have those perspectives, get yourself correctly aligned, and then see if you are able to ride on all those particular things happen to propagate your story. One of the things that I've been told recently on Instagram, so one of the HR recruiter who works with me, she is basically mentoring me on Instagram. So she tells me that, sir, if there is a very popular song which is going on and something happening out there, why don't you start creating some reel and post around it? I said, I'd post it on digitalization, yeah. Come on. How can I basically say that there is some new song which was there? She said, sir, can you keep that song in the background and create it something? I said, that's not something that I can do when I talk about working capital or digital. But that's a strategy for a brand. If you're creating a brand, if you want to become a social personality, that's the right story for you. So you latch on to what's happening, you latch on to the development that's happening, and build your story, communicate your message around that. And that's what basically picks up over a period of time. In the age of social media, be aware of the things that are happening around you, being aware of the trends that are reflecting, and then having a story which resonates with that on either of the story which is done can basically help you pick up. So that's the last thing that I want to look at, share with you. That when we are talking about the story today, you need to be very, very aware of what's happening on the social media so that your story resonates correctly with the audience that you're talking about and you're not on the wrong side of that particular messaging at any point in time. That's all from my side. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Naveen, and thank you everyone for listening out and sharing your perspective here as well. Thank you.
Pleasure having you, Charu. I think this was phenomenal discussion. I think our folks have got awareness of many more details beyond storytelling in terms of what goes into building a brand and what are the nitty-gritty someone has to focus on. So thank you so much. And guys, do you have any questions before we let Charu leave this meeting? Okay, Abhijit, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I had the question that if we want to
Yeah.
incorporate a negative thing into a story, how do we do that?
How you want to include a
If there is a fact that is negative about my brand and we
okay.
are trying to improve on it, so how do we do it? Do we exclude it altogether and then move on, or shall we? What do we? How do we get over that negative image of a brand? Imagine if a brand has created a negative image, how do we get over it?
Amazing. Very important question. And I think there is one particular, so there are different ways in negative emotions are also played into this part. One of the thing that comes around, okay, on a negative side was Unshakable was one of the ad that this was Caliber. So my first bike was Caliber. So there is a theme called Unshakable, which was brought in by Bajaj at that point in time regarding different stores. You can go for that theme and then you see a strong negativity can be shown as a strong point to build it. Okay, that was one side. But when it comes to the product side and working on that part, one of the biggest example that you would see is on the automotive side is the recalls. Okay, way back, this was in about uh, 99 2000 time frame when Indica was newly launched. At that point in time, there was a problem with the brake pads. Okay, and what Tata Motors realized is that after selling this particular vehicles, a lot of that one particular lot in this whole particular thing which was manufactured in India at that point in time had issues. And one of the vehicle had an accident, and then they did some study, and then they realized that this is the case. So they undertook a huge exercise to replace the brake pads. Okay, so what people were required to do, people were required to get the vehicles into this part. They created a whole team. They gave people a guarantee that you basically get your vehicle into the service station, and within an hour we will replace the brake pad and give it to you. Okay, so this is a 1 hour campaign that Tata Motors ran for brake pad replacement. Okay. Now, this is a huge issue. You have created a new vehicle. That vehicle has a brake pad issue, and that brake pad issue, which means that practically anybody can have an accident. Now, only a small percentage, I just told 5% of the brake pads had an issue, but you never know how would you identify those 5% where all the vehicles are fitted, right? So they did it for about 30,000 vehicles. Okay, and then they created a campaign for 1 hour 1 hour replacement campaign, and then they circulated within the groups that okay, we will replace that within an hour. Okay, now there was a cost which they had to incur. They incurred. There was a manpower which was deployed. Even my friends working in Tata Motors plant, we were actually made to go to the dealership and ensure that things happen in an hour. They did that. But that created such a positive impact because people thought that they are responsible. They are acknowledging that something has gone wrong and they are replacing. That was okay. Does this answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Any other questions, guys? Anyways, you are all added to TED Circle's meeting, right? The group, the WhatsApp group, except for Mrunmai. Mrunmai will add you as well to the group, and you'll find a lot of experts and the TGV speakers out there. And you'll have Charu's number over there in case if required. Yeah, he would be more than happy to assist. But yeah, thank you for your attention, guys. And I see that you have asked a lot of profound questions, so which indicates that you are curious and passionate about learning. Keep it up. And thanks again, Charu. This has been a fantastic conversation. I personally enjoyed every bit of it.
Sure. Thank you so much, Naveen, for this opportunity. And guys, whatever that I felt about the overall story regarding the different part, what is the messaging I shared, maybe a bit of a diversion here and there, but that was a full flow based on what things that came to mind. So thank you so much for this opportunity and these great questions that would make me think on some of these lines here. And look forward to connecting with you guys again soon.
Yeah, sure. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. We'll
Bye.
catch up at 7 p.m. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye, sir.